Well, it's Monday. I have just woken up like 5 minutes ago. My voice is not even like awake. Can you tell? You know when you ring someone in the morning and you're like, hello, there's a car's change. You're going to be doing this role. And they're like, good morning. That's what I sound like. I'm up to have some coffee with a friend and that will hopefully wake me up. I slept really, really well, which was great. I've started watching The Good Doctor, which Jane's got me onto. And I was up a bit late watching like the first 2 episodes of that. It's a great show, can recommend. But yeah, I'm just heading down the road to say hello to a friend. Well, I had a lovely catch up with Kate. She's an opera director who's just completing her masters. And we were at Pinchgut. She's got some amazing ideas and she's so close to finishing. So that was amazing. Oh, my hair is going crazy in the wind. It's because I'm trying to put up in like a clip thing. Not sure if that was a smart idea. Done my shopping, heading home. I'm just gonna have a lazy day. I bought a book. To be honest, I bought 3 books. So I'm definitely not gonna have time to finish them all by the time I get through next week. But they're just little books. Oh my gosh, my mouth is filled with my hair. They're just little books that were interesting and small. One is about Proust, one is about burnout, and one is just a series of essays about like different cultural phenomena. So that was nice and interesting and pithy. So I'm going to go home and read some of that. It's probably more interesting if I show you the books that I actually bought. So this one here, it's called Can't Even. And I was drawn to it because literally it was like burnout, something that I have been making sure that I avoid, but I know that it is a significant problem both in the arts and also in what I am doing at the moment, which is stepping up into something that I wasn't really signing up for. I'm enjoying, but I have absolutely no intention of having burnout, so I'm going to read a book about it. This one here is Sally Ould's People Who Lunch, Essays on Work, Leisure and Loose Living, which I just thought was interesting. Like the topic areas are like polyamory and clubbing, and anyway, it's just really pithily, interestingly written. And this one here, I couldn't resist, and it's so like expensive. Living and Dying with Marcel Proust by Christopher Prendergast. I think he's a professor from somewhere. Emeritus Professor of Modern French Literature at Cambridge University. And it's just a little collection on some thoughts about what it's like to read in Remembrance of Lost Time. Remembrance of Lost Time? Search of Lost Time? Remembrance of Things Past. In Search of Lost Time? I don't even remember what it's called, but anyway, it's like a 7-volume novel extravaganza, and I really enjoyed Proust, except I got to like novel number 5 and I had difficulty getting through it because I was just like, oh, it's just too obsessional. But at some point in my life, I will get through the whole of Proust, and I really enjoyed what I have read. And Proust sort of deals with time and sense memory and psychoanalysis and all these things that were happening at the time that he was writing. And he writes beautifully, but he's also a self-obsessed narcissist. So I couldn't resist reading a little bit of that. Will I read these all before I go? Good question. Will I read all the books I have bought before I go? Also another good question. I'm just actually looking in my room to make sure how many. I sent James home with a whole bunch of them actually. But what have I got left? I've got Bullet Journal, which I do want to read because it's about making my life more efficient. But James said something very important to me, which is stop turning your downtime into proactivity and making yourself productive, which is a fair criticism. And then I've got a book of poetry, which is fine. I think that's okay. Someone tell me if you think my collection is stupid and I shouldn't be touring with so many books. But then again, I think my plan is to carry less clothing next time I tour. Because it turns out I don't like clothes that much, and I like books and I keep buying them, so I'll just make sure I have half a suitcase empty. Well, something very stupid just happened. I fell for a scam. I fell for one of those like stupid sites where I was like, oh, I've just got to get this thing done. And I signed up to a subscription that has now billed me for like $177 twice. I'm gonna visit the bank tomorrow and get that sorted. Boy, do I feel like an idiot. There's an accordion playing. I'm heading over to see Max Wilkie, who is meeting me over in South Bank. And today is so humid. Like the air, you could cut it with a knife. It's so filled with water. I made a big mistake, I think, in not bringing my umbrella with me, but I do have a raincoat. So my plan today is to go say hello to Max, who I haven't seen yet, and even though he lives in Melbourne, and then I'm going to go home and do some work on the show. Then I'm going to pack as much as I humanly can, and then I'm going to walk over to catch up with another person, and then I'm going back to Harry Potter, of all places, to cover the other side of the track. So when I went last time, I did the call in the second act and the deck in the first act. So myself and Rachel, who's one of our follow spot ops but has a massive interest in stage management, is going to go do that together. I was tossing and turning about whether to actually do it because it's a big week this week, but then I thought, when again am I going to have the opportunity to learn from another show? Like after Sydney, which will be its own challenge, we're just on the road, and like no one else is going to be in Newcastle or Adelaide or Perth. Like it becomes a little bit of a lonely tour after that. So I'm just going to take opportunities when they arise, mainly because I like to learn, and I'm actually thinking about what can I do for our show to create learning opportunities for others, because there's actually like, it can be quite life-changing as a student to have the ability to go and observe. Now our show is not that complicated and is actually just like, when you see the call, you can't even talk to the person who's visiting because you only get like 3 times in the entire show to have a drink of water, let alone teach somebody. But it's better than nothing. And also with the shortages of the industry, I just feel like we owe it to the students who are coming up to give them the best opportunity possible to join a team. And the first way to join a team is to be known. So let's see if I can action that, because I think that would be really good. But also, does anyone even want to come? There are times when I've offered secondments to students and they just don't even care. And you think, why did I bother? But every so often you find somebody who actually is passionate and wants to learn, and that's gold. So, yeah. Should have worn a t-shirt. It's just like, yuck. From all my time here in Melbourne, if anywhere is touring to Melbourne for a large period, to me that's a massive asset. I have really enjoyed being in this city. I have barely been anywhere. I've been to St Kilda, I went to Northcote to see Paul and Charles and Xander, and now I'm going to South Bank to see Max. I mean, I get very set in my own way. I mean, with only one day off, where can you go really? Oh, I went to Fitzroy as well, but there's just not been enough time to actually embrace the city. Oh my gosh, there's an ad there for Phantom of the Opera. That's exciting. That means Lil's around, maybe. Oh no, she's on holiday. Anyway, I wish that they were here because then we could catch up. But they're probably not starting until we've left. Ads changed. It's really nice to see these shows floating around, and I really hope that people attend. But yes, Melbourne, that's a plus in my column. If someone is touring to Melbourne for a period of time, I'm in. It's great. In fairness though, I've only ever been here in spring and autumn, and I hear it's very, very hot in the summer and very, very cold in winter. So, sort of got the best of the year, I think. The brown waters of the Yarra. I almost like that Melbourne is not as naturally beautiful as Sydney. I mean, Sydney can be a dive at times, but, no, sorry. Oh dear, these poor people who are now in my vlog. There's a lot of people asking for money at the moment. But yeah, Melbourne is a less beautiful city than Sydney, naturally. It just doesn't have the foreshore and the pretty lights in the water. But I feel like they make up for it by having a really robust, healthy community. And I can see why a lot of people are just like, nope, Melbourne is it. Although Sydney is a financial capital and you can just sort of feel it. Oh yeah, there's more Phantom paraphernalia. Looking good. Just along here, firstly they've got music playing, which is lovely, but it smells like freshly mown grass. I can see that everything's been cut recently. Oh, it's such a good smell. Google is telling me to walk through this really spooky looking corridor. Oh, it's like an underpass. Google, if you have taken me here to get mugged, I am not pleased. I really hope it goes somewhere. It's like the depths of the back of the music centre. Oh, okay. The back way. Oh look, there's other people. And there's the stage door. Okay, well that's cool. Hammer Hall? I don't know. Spooky, going like secret ways. It turns out I'm in the back of house for the art centre, which is where Max is working at the moment. And he showed me this cool thing that I'm going to show you about how the semi-trailers get down into the art centre to get loaded. It blew my mind. So what happens is that the back of the semi-trailer gets unloaded onto a lift that then goes down into the substage and gets unloaded there. So they don't have to unload from the truck at all. Like the back end of the truck gets put into the building by a lift. Amazing. In the comedy theatre, we do not have such things. We have a tiny alleyway with no rain protection. So I am watching the weather like a hawk to see whether we're going to have to bump out everything in the rain, and I really am praying to the rain gods that this does not happen, because we had to bump in the rain. That was nasty enough, but bumping out in the rain with like new team members who haven't done it before, I'm just like, no, I don't want to do it. Oh, anyway, we have to. I have wet weather protection gear and gumboots to wear, so I'll be fine, but the morale will be low, I reckon, if that is something we have to do. And that's not how you want to leave a place. You want to leave a place feeling like pleased and proud and supported. Going back into like the creepy tunnel. And then I'm going to head home so I can do some work and have some lunch. I'm a little bit hungry. Max's partner Gemma works on Harry Potter, so maybe I'll see her tonight. She's part of the lighting team. That'd be really, really cool. But I just don't know. Okay. Walking home.